Thanks for staying with us. Now, one academic believes that the Higher Education Minister's decision to place the University of South Africa under administration is misguided. At the weekend, the minister announced Professor Ihron Rensburg as the administrator and also dissolved the council. Now, UNISA's Professional Ethics Lecturer Mametlwe Sebei joins us live now to talk more on this. Thank you so much for your time this evening. You say the minister's decision is unfortunate and misguided. Tell us why.
Yes, misguided in law, and of course, effectively amounting to a contempt of court. Two reasons. One is that, the Constitution is very clear in terms of authority of courts, right? I think it's section 165 that says that decisions and orders of courts are binding on the persons, including, of course, the organs of the state to whom they apply. And what is the situation in this case? The UNISA, or this matter, has been subject of court twice already before the current application by UNISA. In August, I think, yes, the minister tried to place UNISA under administration. He issued a notice. That notice was challenged by UNISA. Without a prospect of success, the minister undertook to retract that notice. And remember, the minister is required by the Act, that is the Higher Education Act, to issue a notice in advance of placing university under administration. So his retraction, but also the conversion of that undertaking into a court order, it means that there is no notice to that effect. Then in October, he tried again to proceed without notice this time, to dissolve the council. UNISA went to court. On the 6th of October, the court pronounced itself. And actually, at that time, it was very clear that the minister was in breach, and it did say so. But of course, also that is in contempt of that court if he were to proceed. So he was again interdicted. And for him to come again on the basis strictly of the, application of the leave to appeal that he lost. Again, here he reflects his own misunderstanding of the law, because when you look at section 18.2 of the Superior Courts Act, right, that regulate the rules of court and the validity of its decisions, is very clear that the operation and validity of an interlocutory order that is not of final effect is not suspended by any application of a leave to appeal, right? And that is a situation here. Those two orders were interim orders issued interlocutory application of the two review applications, one challenging the appointment of the administrator of the independent assessor, another challenging the findings, the process of assessment and the findings thereof. So
the minister is saying that, I'm not sure if you've read his statement at the weekend. He says in part that making this decision, he carefully considered the findings of the independent assessor's report, as well as the responses from council and government's responsibilities in protecting public interests in the governance and management of the institution. So it sounds like you're not convinced by this.
I'm not convinced. That matter, the substance of it is subject to a court application, in which the court said that, well, let's wait for that, for that report to be reviewed and it be in a position to make determination. But that report, I've questioned it from the beginning, right? So one is that report confuses instead of clarifying issues insofar as the state of UNISA is concerned. If you take that report, but also if you take, the hysteria that the minister want to create around the situation at UNISA, you would imagine that this institution that has completely imploded, right? That is not true. If anything, in the past 2 years, the situation has been improving, and there are facts and figures. Every single independent report on the state of UNISA has indicated that. And
so what is the one thing that has improved?
Okay, there are three aspects that make the university.
I just need one.
Right? Okay, let's look at the finances, right? UNISA had had the reserves sitting at 9 billion in 2021 when the ministerial task team and of course the independent assessor was appointed and the new management, right? Now we are today sitting at 16 billion. The result of that is that the publication Top 500 has rated UNISA as the best performing cooperation in the university sector. Right?
So, yeah.
Of the top 500 best performing cooperations last year.
And I did see that, but one can also say that, for example, while we talk about these wins that you are highlighting, there's also a very issue of some of the students who complain about administrative issues, who complain about how even the systems themselves are not student friendly. So that is also at the core of why UNISA exists, for the student experience. And I wonder then, what do you say on that? Is it a well-oiled machine?
Absolutely. I mean, you see, the problems, the frustrations of students, of workers, of academics, of communities about UNISA are very legitimate, are very genuine, right? What do they reflect? They reflect all the problems that were identified by the ministerial task team report that was, of course, handed over in 2021. But the issue here is, has the university acted on the recommendation of the ministerial task team? Since 2021, when that report was handed over, the circumstances that in law would have required the appointment of the independent assessor, those circumstances were changed by the actions of the University Council. What did they do? One is that they've appointed new management. Two is that they've addressed issues of corruption, mismanagement, and I think the financial performance of university is indicating that. But more than that, the ratings in terms of the rankings of the university, right? Both international ratings. The Times World University Ranking Report places UNISA at number 7. The department's own research output report says UNISA is number 8 in the country. Every indication points to the fact that in terms of the integrity of the academic program, there is more improved support for students. That in terms of research output, there is improvement. The finances, as I've said, they've elevated UNISA to a crisis that was correctly identified to a top performing university in the country in that respect. So I'm saying, UNISA, like the rest of the public sector, suffered capture. That's the shortest way of putting it, in the past decade, in which, by the way, the very people that want to take UNISA were very much at the helm of government and the party that facilitated and enabled that capture. Universities have been turned into a site of accumulation by a tender-pruninal interest, and I think, by all indication, this management is dismantling those networks, and I think the minister, by his decision, seemed to suggest that he wants those interests by insisting that procurement should be done through tendering to be restated, and that's a problem.
All right. Mametlwe, we'll also try to get a response from the minister as well as you say this, but one of the things that I was asking is the student's experience. I mean, for example, I'm not even able to register. I've been trying to do that on the system. So rankings or anything, a student is watching tonight and saying, you may be ranked number 7 or number 8, but if the systems are simply not allowing students to do what they need to do at a very basic level, that also raises some serious questions. But I do hope we speak about the student's experience at some point to talk about exactly what is going on here and what are some of the plans to improve things in that particular regard. Let me thank you for your time. That is UNISA's Professional Ethics Lecturer, Mametlwe Sebei.